This is just a few questions. Just a few questions from Chicago. This is part 2 of Marcia Logan from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Marcia, you still mad and angry?
I'm not mad and angry. Honestly, I'm not mad. I'm mad and angry at the misperceptions that people have. Black folks are not out there burning things down. We're not out there blowing things up. Okay, we may be taking some merchandise. We're not destroying our own neighborhoods. We're not burning down our homes. That's what I'm upset about. There are few
You mean on
infiltrators
neighborhoods,
who are taking
black
advantage.
businesses? That's what you said. We're not destroying black businesses
No,
to the
because there are
degree.
hardly any, because we don't get the opportunity to have them.
Yeah.
And that's who's upset, is the people who are used to the creature comforts that we don't get. What we're used to is being killed for just existence, for just breathing. We're targets. Whereas that little boy who went up in the church and shot all those people, and they took him to Burger King on his way
we
to
understand, we understand that because you got to go, I got to go. We talked
Okay.
off air before we got started. We talked about Francis Cress Welsing. So remind the people what you told me before we went on the air about that dark black skin is a existential threat to white folks.
Oh, definitely. People like to say that we get killed because of our mannerisms, or because of the way we speak, or because of what we wear. And personally, just as Dr. Francis Cress Welsing taught us in her phenomenal work, The ISIS Papers, white folks view black skin as a threat. And I think I don't even think they realize it. I think it's subconscious. I think they're taught that through the education system. They're taught that through white supremacy, through everything we're taught. People want to know, why isn't there a White History Month? Because white history is celebrated every day. You drive down Lincoln Drive, you go by the Washington Monument, you go by all these things that just reinforce the greatness of these whiteness of the society. White people have, no matter how far, they have inherited founding father inheritance rights. So they believe that everything good in this country they developed, because we still have they changed Delaware Avenue, which was named for the Delaware Indians, to Columbus Boulevard, to the person who killed them and brought smallpox and destroyed them. This is the kind of hypocrisy that goes on in America, and this is what has been going on unchecked. The racism, the thievery, the rapes,
yeah, we understand that, Marcia Logan.
Marcia
Logan, we know that.
Country.
We understand it's Marcia Logan, but do
But
you
it's
think?
in- but it's-
but do you think it's going to end in your lifetime?
I don't know, because it's so embedded and it's so conditioned that when you start talking,
will it end in your children's lifetime?
I don't know, and that's what my fear is, because our children, unfortunately, we haven't taken the time to hand down institutions that will pass on these feelings of injustice, that teach them how to deal with injustice in more than just lip service, more than just marching, more than just wanting destruction. And I'm not upset with the destruction, because guess what? The destruction gets your attention. If they were just, sucking lollipops and standing on state house grounds, you wouldn't even hear them. A black man can't take an AK-47 and go up the steps of the state building, and the state building shut down like they did for these white folks. It's not going to happen. They'd have killed all of them, and they'd have been justified in the minds of many. And see, that's the problem. This racism, this hatred, this violence is woven into the fabric of America.
So,
and we don't want to discuss
you're
that.
not hopeful, because we had
No,
slaves.
I'm not,
Yeah,
because
millions of slaves were born, lived, and died as a slave. So you think that in your lifetime, in your children's lifetime, is never going to get better than it is right now, or we have an end of racism, end of racism.
We would need some kind of metaphysical intervention. Something would have to happen that no one is trying to make happen, or no one that I know of, because you can't deal with humans the way we've been dealing with it. We've never taught conflict resolution. It's always been, we're wrong, they're right. We need to just be nicer, pay better attention, do what they say, and all of our problems will go away. Get over it. Whoever tells any other group of people who have been who has suffered injustice to just get over it. People have no problem telling us that. We still have people. You see all these? They're calling it the George Floyd challenge, where these little white boys are laying down and somebody's putting their knees on their neck. It's a joke. See, and this is what we don't realize. A lot of people don't feel the way you feel. They see that injustice and they see it as funny. They see it as justified because this is what was passed down by their people. And it's usually the poorer. It's usually the ones who didn't make it, or the ones that didn't get the success that they thought they were supposed to get, and they want to blame it on someone other than themselves. So they pass down this sense of victimization that some other group who doesn't look like them, who's doing better than them, but in their mind shouldn't. You forget we are still 3/5 a person. We're not even citizens according to the Constitution.
Well, I'm not a constitutional expert. Let me close out the.
These are the descendants of the people who sat down and wrote. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, and in their mind, when they said all men, they meant men that look like us. Okay, they didn't mean all men.
We are in the land of the free and the home of the slaves. We know that.
So, but see, this is what I'm saying. We discount it, but what we need to do is understand that it is in the mind. It's woven into the fabric of how these people feel about themselves. You can't tell people to stop being racist without giving them something else to be. This is what they are. A lot of people, racism is endemic to their identity. So now what am I going to be if I'm not racist? Even though I've never called it racist, I've just called it being a good patriot. For some people, being a racist is the same as being a patriot. Okay. And they've never taken the time to pull that apart and see what that really means. These are people who have taken and beaten their way into everyone's history books, and then they get there and rewrite them.
Okay, I see. You don't have too many white friends, do you?
I do. My God,
I said not too many.
The Philadelphia High School for Girls where I went.
I know, but
we were truly a melting pot.
Okay, that was 100 years ago.
We truly love each other.
That's 100 years ago. Let me close out.
Yeah, but we still interact.
I know you do.
We interact on a daily. Like
you gonna do something today for the school. I'm just messing with you.
Exactly.
All jokes
and I don't care what color the person's house is I'm going to. They are a graduate of the Philadelphia High School for Girls, and they're my family. And I love these women. I don't care what their ancestry is. But guess what? We're different. We're different. In that school, we bonded based on education. We bonded based on challenges. We bonded based on projects. And we came together and we had issues. We worked them out. But there was never a feeling of superiority other than smarts. We were all smart girls. Some were smarter than the others. Okay. But there was never a sense of you're dumb because of your color.
So what was the name of that high school in Philadelphia again?
Philadelphia High School for Girls.
Okay, and you went there in the 70s, right?
I graduated in 82. 226 babies, my graduating class. Woo woo.
Okay, so let me close out the conversation real quick by saying that since you had that experience in that institution with European Americans, i.e., white people, that would let you know there is some hope if we get, not for all of them, but for some people, if we get to know each other as human beings, we might have some hope in this country. Do you agree or disagree? Based off your experience in high school, based off your experience in that institution, because institutions run things, you know that.
See, and that's the problem. We haven't developed institutions that carry that. That's why our children are so lost now. They don't have institutions where they can go that will validate their feelings, that will give them solutions and hope.
Well, I'm talking about the institutions of the dominant society.
And we don't have institutions. Our institutions now validate racism and hatred and the discrimination of folk. And, that's pretty much the American way.
Marcia Logan, once again, I love your energy. I may not be able to get some mainstream guests or other white people on my podcast, but
I don't know why.
When you speak truth, not you, but when truth is spoken, white folks, some, but not all,
they get uncomfortable.
And guess
because
what?
They're used to being comfortable. And see, but that's the legacy of slavery and racism. See, that uncomfortability that you talked about is racism. And that's what we don't want to address. To the point of your discomfort is to the point of your racism. And we don't want to call it that. We want to call it something else. And because we want to keep white folks, we want Miss Ann to be happy. We don't want to talk about Miss Ann with some of the was some of the biggest racists when she used to beat that little black child to death because she was jealous because that child was the product of something she didn't want to deal with. We don't want to deal with that side of it.
But
We just
also,
want
I'll have trouble getting Negroes on the show for that same reason because there's another subject,
apologists.
black
You mean
folks
apologists?
who are uncomfortable with people like
Who
you
are
and I speaking about
apologists? The
racism.
Ben Carsons.
Well, I
They're
don't know. Well,
apologists.
there's a lot, and not even there's some liberals who will vote for Barack Obama who are still uncomfortable
Well,
with.
I wasn't talking about his politics. I was talking about his mentality. He's an apologist. He will make
What I'm
excuses.
saying, but
He will
there's a lot of middle class and upper class and elite Negroes who don't like this kind of conversation
right
either.
because they don't want their elite comfort
And
that
they don't want to be
that
seen or
that is
heard
paying
with
for it.
Negroes. We're the part
Who's
of the
paying for
proletariat.
it?
We're the proletariat
They
Negroes. They don't want no part of us.
they want to maintain those mansions and those cars they're driving that white folks have supplied through their employment.
Oh, I ain't mad at them. I ain't mad. I understand. We
I'm
just have to
not
talk
either.
about it. Yeah. Well, okay.
I'm not
So
mad in the sense that I understand their motivation. I'm mad in the sense that they're willing to throw away the generation that comes behind them, so that they can, just live a certain status. It's just like, look, it's just like the fraternities and now. See, you'll really get people mad. You start stepping on that
no,
Greek
that's another show.
ideology
That's
that
another
we
show.
have.
We'll say the hate for another show. Okay.
Well, it's not hate. See,
I
that's the
know
thing. It's
it's
not
we're
hate.
contextualizing. We're
It's
not criticizing.
realism,
I know.
and we don't want to deal with the realism that we have all of these oh goodness, discriminatory practices that are so normalized that we don't see them
What I'm trying to
as
say
what
though,
they
I
are.
think a lot of white folks do understand, and other people who live here in America. I'm not going to discount y'all. Everybody in America, they understand that black folks got to fight on two fronts. We got to fight white supremacy, and we got to fight our own distrust and black folks' self hatred of each other. We got it. We got two fights every day. We get beat up by two people every day. Those two
Well, didn't
institutions.
James Baldwin do that? And didn't Frederick Douglass talk about warring souls? They've been telling us that forever.
Yeah, but
We just haven't been
we ain't
listening.
working it
And
out yet.
because no institutions were developed to teach this, to teach us solutions, to teach us the real problem, that's why these children have the energy, but they have no direction. And that's the problem because they don't have anybody. They've heard a lot of talking, but they've seen no action. You can talk and walk all you want, but what did you build?
Yeah, I know.
What legacy did you build where
I
we
know,
can
but the young
build?
people don't. I was young and dumb once. They don't understand.
They're not dumb, no. They're not
No,
dumb.
no, but
They're
they
telling
don't
us
have
the truth,
wisdom. They don't
and
have
we
they don't
want to
have
deal with
wisdom.
it.
They got smarts but no wisdom. Knowledge
Right,
comes
but
quick.
we
I had
have
I had a guy
wisdom
tell
and
me
no
years ago.
smarts.
Knowledge comes quickly. Wisdom takes time.
Right, but wisdom without institutions is just talk. That's what I'm saying. They that's all they've seen us do. We talk very well. We've had some of the best
Yeah,
people who were
they don't
loquacious,
listen. They
but
don't
we
no,
didn't
they don't
establish
understand.
any
No,
action.
no,
We
because
need action
they don't
activity.
understand the powers that be have kept us from
They
building.
do. Well,
No, they
that's
don't. No, they
because
don't. No, they
you
don't.
don't want to know why. And again, that's our fault. We didn't establish the
No,
institutions to teach
hey,
that.
no, you got children. I got children. They gonna listen to me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, children.
Because we didn't establish any institution.
No. It's not. No, it's not that. It just takes time.
Yes.
No, fat meat is
Yes.
greasy, and people got to
That's why
learn on their own.
that's why
Fat meat
Malcolm X
greasy.
said it's insane to send your children to the oppressor to be educated because you are going to pay for and support little crazy children because you're sending them out into a crazy world that teaches them to hate themselves, and then you expect them to be some kind of brilliant Pan-Africanist, but you just sent them to the most hypocritical place you can go, and that's the public school system in America, which still teaches the only thing black folks ever did were happy slaves. And thank God you got us out of that jungle that is Africa, which we know is not true. But this is still what's being taught.